Hey, this is Willis, and this is my Azami Lady of Scrolls deck. Alright, so here you got Azami, fantastic general, because just about every creature in here is a wizard, so drawing a lot of cards. Because a few of them are wizards that need snow permanents, I'm running 28 basic snow islands. Then into the non-basics, got the seat, Reliquary Tower for no hand size. It's really important when you're playing with Azami. Tapping for 2 colorless mana when you have more than 5 lands. My one and only storage land in here. I don't run storage lands very often, but figured it'd be appropriate here. Quicksand's good, just because it's good removal. I don't have a lot of defense in this deck, so like to dissuade people from attacking me. This is a great card, one of the best lands in here because it allows you to bounce one of your wizards to your hand. Remote Isle just in here for its cycling ability in case I get so many lands I don't need anymore, I can cycle through it. Mouth of Ronom, probably the second best land card in here because I will get enough snow land to use this ability, and it's unsuspected. People always forget about the 4 damage that it can deal. And I do run one of the Urza. Never pulled it off because it's such a big deck, but no reason not to have it in there. Supreme Inquisitor, this is just a stupid card in this deck because it's so good. Searching out cards from other players' libraries, people hate it. Vedalken AEthermage, 99% of the time I'm using this guy for his wizard cycling ability. Venzer is one of my favorite wizards of all time. Instant speed, either counterspell or, well, not really counterspell, return it to its hand, or bounce permanent. This is why I'm running a few of those artifact lands. And this is just being able to stack your library. It's one of the wizards that has in here because he is needs snow lands to make him 2/2 flying creatures. Trinket Mage is in here because the rest of the deck is about charge counters, and I'll explain that here when we get there. Vigean Graftmage, he is good because of his untap ability, which we'll get to into the charge counter aspect of this in a little bit. Taskmage is in here because of the snow lands and being able to tap or untap permanents, as is the Rimewind Master here for his control ability with the snow permanents. Graceful Adept, useful, but usually Reliquary Tower is in place, so it's not really that important, but she does tap to draw cards. She's a wizard. Infuser, like I said, the other half of this deck is artifact and charge counter based, so he is really important to have on the board. People often hate against him really quick. Cytoplast just allows you to take control of another creature, as does Thalakos, or Thalakos. Filigree is in here because I am often wanting to untap one of my things that put charge counters on a artifact. And of course the Dreamsower to keep things tapped down. Flying Wall that doesn't receive or give combat damage is great. Great defender. Drift of Phantasms in here is good. Flying defender as well, plus his transmutability to get certain cards out. And this is the card in the deck that is most about being able to untap him multiple times with various cards, putting multiple charge counters on different artifacts. Mindless Automaton, just pretty much in here for the card draw. He doesn't have anything to do with charge counters, but he's good to remove his counters, draw cards. And then you run into a string of shapeshifters in here, which are pretty much about copying the core tapper. Sakashima is good, just to go in and copy any creatures. Then you've got a few cards in here that are proliferating. Energy Chamber, another putting an artifact, or putting a charge counter on an artifact. Darksteel Reactor, here's one of the things that needs charge counters to allow me to win the game. It's indestructible, but I've had that bounced with, a boomerang or something on 19 charge counters. That's not fun. Then pretty much the rest of these cards are about putting additional charge counters on it and using their abilities. So you're dropping 9/9 artifacts into play with that. You're giving creatures -1/-1 counters with this, although you can't put charge counters on it with its black ability. I don't know if there's a rule against running that because it's got black line. Yeah, is it? Alright, well that'll come out then. Alright, Power Conduit, removing counters to put additional charge counters on. And then there's a little bit of removal with some charge counters. Putting creature tokens into play. That can get really big if you start dropping a lot of charge counters on it. For 4 mana you can put in big creatures. And multiple proliferates, fantastic. This allows you to tap for blue mana equal to the number of charge counters that you remove. This is a card draw, and you don't have to sacrifice creatures to put the charge counters on if you don't want to. The Hatchery, this is great because you can fetch it with the Trinket Mage, and because it's 0 mana converted mana cost, and then put all of the snakes into play with as many charge counters as you want to load up on it. Chalice, obviously, charge counters give you mana. Engineered Explosives, this card's been really great for me because once I start building up charge counters, people are reluctant to mess with me because they know that I'll detonate it and hit them in the face with it. Lux Cannon, it's great to be able to use this every turn rather than having to sit there and build up 3 charge counters on it before you can use it. The Trigon, just card draw. Golem Foundry, not near as nice as the Titan Forge, but puts 3/3 guys into play. Heliophile, here's another one or this is the one that goes to the face, sorry, the Engineered Explosive blows up everything on the board. This is creating a big guy with trample. Ratchet Bomb, blowing up converted mana cost of specific cards. It's great, removal. And this is probably the most hated card in the deck, Magistrate's Scepter. If I get it out correctly, I can often take infinite turns with it. Fabricate to fetch certain artifacts. Inexorable Tide for Proliferate. Steady Progress for Proliferate. Contagion Class for Proliferate. Fuel for Proliferate. Then Icy, just a ridiculously good control card. Freed from the Reel, this is a fantastic card to enchant the Core Tapper with, because for each blue mana you're untapping him. I've enchanted Core Tapper with that guy and ran up the Darksteel Reactor quickly to win the game. Reshape, just more artifact fetch. Cumberstone is in here purely for a meta card because we have a guy that runs Infect, but it's a bunch of weenie Infect guys, so that guy's in there just to protect me from his Infect. Mystic Decree, because I don't have a lot of flying defense and I don't want anybody island walking me. And finally, Sculpting Steel's in here to be able to copy any artifacts such as the Core Tapper. Thanks for watching CMDR Decks. Please subscribe and favorite.